Hello my friends, and welcome to another video on my channel. If you don't know me, I'm Viola. I'm a mixed media artist, and this is my part 2 of this sketchbook tour video. I filmed first part of this sketchbook earlier this month, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. I speak a little bit more about what this sketchbook is, the brand, the artists behind those lovely stickers, and as you can see, it's quite full, the sketchbook. So yeah, go check it out if you haven't seen it, and I will start with the second half today. If you haven't done so yet, please like this video and subscribe to my channel so you always know when I post new videos. This also helps me to make my videos more visible and make more people see my art. It also helps me to build my dream career, so thank you so much. And now let's start the sketchbook tour. Let me see. So this first page, you see, and you will see it through my sketchbook, I use a lot of tissues and spare papers between pages. The reason is because I work a lot with oil pastels and with the New Color 2 crayons, and they stain the page, as you can see here. I haven't figured out the perfect fixative yet, so if you have any pro tips on fixatives that you use in your sketchbook, please let me know in comments, because I really need one, because this looks just so messy. And when I'm sketching on site and it's windy, the papers and tissues are flying around, and there must be a better way to do this. So yeah, let me know if you have some tip. These colored marks will be probably from some leftover paint that I had, and then these are stamps that I made myself to use on my products, on my bags if I'm selling on markets or something like that. I can show you, I liner cut them from rubber gum, and yeah, it was pretty easy, quite therapeutic, I have to say. This is my logo. Yeah, I think the only thing is you always have to think about that it will be mirrored. I'm not saying I had to do it twice, but I did have to do it twice because I messed up. But that's okay, it was a practice. So yeah, I guess this is a tip from me. Use rubbers to create stamps. Because I just pre-opened my shop, I will speak a little bit about my products, if it has anything in common with the page and sketchbook. Where this does, I created these stars to use them on my liner cut pencil cases that I did. It's a little bit self-promotion. I did these pencil cases with my liner cut dogs, and here you can see how I used the stars that I cut off the rubber glue. So yeah. Let's go to this page. This is one of my favorite pages in a sketchbook. I just bought the Sennelier oil pastels for the first time, and I've fallen in love. I think I used some Pinterest image as a reference and just created this illustration. I really felt like stars and glittering, and yeah, you could see this on my Instagram. I created postcard print from this illustration, so this is available on my shop update as well. And also it inspired me to make a sticker, and so this is the sticker. Yeah, So if you want, it's on my shop update as well. Let me put this back. So this page was art challenge from Instagram. I think it was a flower a day challenge, and this is the artist that it was from. I didn't have time to sketch every day back then, so I just did 3 flowers a day and made like a nice page of it. I really like this page. I think that I would like more work with sketchbook spreads like this and fill them. It just looks really nice. I like how I was working with different media, so I always tried the pencil sketch and then I did it in color. I love to have my color palettes on site. Here, as you can see, I messed up, but it's just a sketchbook, no panic. I just took a piece of paper and put it over and tried again. Here we have another of my series that I started with Neocolor watercolor crayons and Layer pastels. I created series of the postcards prints, so I made a postcard of this one as well. I don't know if I showed you the back. Yeah. Yeah, because I really like this era. Here we have another 2. Again, you could see it on my Instagram. I did those actually when I was waiting for our car to be checked out in a garage, and it was early spring. Yeah, I really enjoyed the sun. I remember I sat on the grass. I had a Pinterest reference photo on my phone and I just sat there in the grass next to the massive road and sketched and did this illustration. So yeah, I loved it. Yeah, so now I see it was also still part of the a flower a day challenge. So you can see I started with very different approach and then it changed to this kind of style, and I love it. I really like to work with very bright full colors, so yeah, that's my thing now. Here we have some, I don't know what this was. I think I got some new watercolors and I wanted to try how the colors looks like. So here I was sketching for a painting that I wanted to do. I wanted to make a coastal painting from a beach nearby, and I had this painting on an exhibition later, and yeah, I like how it turns out, but I have to say to sketch before painting is really important to me. I learned that it's so much better to warm up first, try to sketch the composition, figure out the colors maybe a little bit, and sometimes it helps a lot. Here we have another of my oil pastel pages, and again swatches of my new 7-layer oil pastels that I bought. As you can see, they are metallic. That was a mistake. I didn't want to buy metallic pastels, but I guess I didn't read a description of the product properly, so yeah, I bought metallic ones and I was really sad, but I thought I will make a swatches of them in my sketchbook anyway, and then I showed my other 7-layer pastels that I have. So as you can see, I don't have massive palette, but it's all what I need. And I always try to make new combinations of these colors. To show you, I have those 3 as well as little prints. So yeah, also available on my shop right now until 1st of September, and then my shop will be closed and will reopen with more updates at the end of September. Ooh, I almost forgot. This page was experiment with more abstract and expressive sketching again. I'm not sure if you can say that it's a plant or not, but I really liked it and inspired me for my next pages. Beginning of April, we went to Viola Beach. I just sat there, read my book, and sketched some views and some shelves that I found on the beach, and I really like this page. It's calming, and I think you can see that it's not summer scenery but spring one. What I like about English beaches is that you always can see some fields and the green grass in your view, so you sit on a beach but you also see a green grass. It's something amazing, I think, and it's completely different to like South European beaches, so yeah, I wanted to capture it on this sketch. As I said, something clicked and I started to go with my feeling. I will show on a photo in a corner the view or the day that I sketched this. It was in Royal Williams Yard here in Plymouth, and it was a view to the ocean and little natural pool in a corner and rocks. There are some trees here, and I really like this expressive style. This was one of my lunch breaks at work. I work as a landscape architect, and we work together with landscaping company, and we have a little place where we store plants, so it's really nice to go for a lunch break and just sit and sketch some flowers. I'm really fortunate to do that. And if you think that those sketches looks a little bit weird, it's because I'm left-handed and I tried to use my right hand, my non-dominant hand, to make these sketches. So it's very different than how I would do it with my left hand, I think, but you can still see the flowers. Some of the names of the flowers are in Czech. These are dandelions, vinca and wild garlic. Yeah, I actually should do it again because I really enjoyed it, and I think it's really good for art practice to try this from time to time. This is a sketch from a lunch that we went for with my boyfriend, and I really liked the atmosphere of the restaurant. So while I had some time while we were waiting for our food, I just did this sketch, and I will show you on a photo again how it looked like in the atmosphere and what I tried to capture. And I had a lot of fun with this one. This is a landscape scenery in Ivy Bridge. It's a scenery of a river, and it was spring. You can see that the trees weren't in full leaf yet, but it was very lovely afternoon. It was sunny, and I just sat in the grass and sketched this, and it made me feel happy. This page is more as a journal again. I didn't feel really happy, I felt weird, and then I thought about something that would make me feel happy, and I thought about my favorite animal, which is aardvark. If you don't know aardvarks are amazing animals, and I just love them so much. I love them since I was a kid, and I saw them first time in a zoo with my mum, and I fell in love with them straight away. My favorite thing about them were how they cuddle when they sleep. They're just so cute. As a kid, I would make little books about them, and yeah, and I just remember them and thought I would do some sketches, and it made me feel better. And then I did this page, so it inspired me to do like a illustration page about aardvarks. If somebody wonders what flowery means, this is kind of a made-up name that I created for aardvarks. It's just how I called them as a kid and how I still call them. And this page inspired me to do this little zine. So the zine is called Hello, I'm Flowery. It's a story of a happy aardvark, and it's just a silly little cute zine. It's also available on my shop now, so if you're interested, it just always brightens my mood to look through this. I also wasn't done after this page, and I had one old lamp and lampshade that I got in a scrap store here, so I painted some aardvarks on the lampshade, and now we have special lamp in our apartment. I will show you a photo as well. And this is a watercolor portrait of my friend Natasha. We went for a drink one evening and we were sitting outside sketching, and we just thought we would do portraits of each other. I'm not really good with faces and portraits, but I actually think it kind of looks like her in a weird way. And then while we were sitting there, there was a beautiful sunset, and the light was mirrored on the sea with the little boats, and it was just really, really nice. Here I started sketching some landscape, but I haven't finished. But I can see the landscape anyway, and I quite like that in my sketchbook some pages are just not finished pages. I think it adds to the sketchbook. Here I again used it as a journal, and I sketched my vase with some flowers just in a line, black ink. This was in May, and this is a page where I sketched our chestnut tree leaves. I'm not sure if you can see it, but I like the colors of this page so much. It's just so colorful, and it's just happy, bright, fresh colors. This was supposed to be a back page of my thank you cards from my shop that I never finished. This page is interesting because my mum got me for my birthday a workshop of natural inks. So these inks are all just natural from cabbage. You boil cabbage and you get the pigment from there, you get the color from there, and then you mix it with other minerals and salts, and it gives you different colors. So it's super interesting. Super interesting. I see now that the colors changed a little bit. They were much more brighter before. I think I have it on these cards here as well. So yeah, you can see that it also reacts differently on different papers. So interesting. I enjoyed the workshop very much, and it was just really fun to experiment with natural inks, and I would definitely want to experiment with natural pigments, natural colors much more. This is a page of one of the favorite places of mine in Prague. It's a Františkánská zahrada, Františkánská garden, and I just love this place. It's like a park, little park garden in the middle of a central Prague. You can see the beautiful houses in the background, and then just trees in front of you. It's really beautiful there. If you go visit Prague, definitely go here. I was just sketching. This is with that ink from cabbage. I actually still have it here. So this is how the ink looks like in its form. And then when you put it on a paper, it's more like a blue, light blue color. I treasure it. Here we went for a garden party to our friends, and they had these beautiful peonies that were just about to bloom, and I just liked how they looked like, so I did this little sketch. This was a tennis game with my parents. So I was visiting my parents in Czech Republic and we went to play tennis. And when I was too tired to play, I couldn't play anymore, I thought I will sketch some tennis balls. I just got my new Neocolor set from my mum, which was full of yellows and orange colors. So that was very convenient, and yeah, I did this page. This was me on a train to Exeter. I just did this very colourful quick sketch of landscape. I'm not the biggest fan of this page, but it was a good to practice. Since the Advark page, I started to use just black watercolor much more and use it as a illustration medium. I quite like to have just pages like this. This was 13th of May. As you can see, I wasn't really sure about the date, and my boyfriend took me to this natural spa for my birthday, and they had this natural pool. They had some nudes there. I don't know if I pronounced them well. So I thought they were quite cute, so I sat down and sketched them for a bit. 14th of May. So my birthday is 15th of May, and so I had whole Thursday weekend experience. My boyfriend took me to the park and he made me this flower crown for my birthday. It was so sweet. We sat there. He never done it before, so he was just trying. So I taught him, and then he was just sitting there trying to do it from flowers, and I sketched the process. Here, after the spa, we went to a beach in Cornwall and I did a painting there. But before that, again, as I say, I like now to warm up in my sketchbook before I do the painting. So this was my little fast sketch of the scenery that I wanted to paint. Sometimes I leave the page blanks in my sketchbook just when I know that I want to use a lot of different medias and I'm not sure if the paper will take it, and I don't want to destroy the page before I just leave the page blank. So this was my birthday, 15th of May. I had to work that day. I went to work and my boyfriend picked me up from work and just took me to the beautiful forest close to my work. And all the bluebells were in bloom, and it was just so magical. It was perfect birthday, honestly. Perfect birthday. I did this sketch and then I made a painting from it as well, and I spent an hour there. Shout out to my boyfriend who sat there with me for hours. Here I just sketched some beer. This page is from camping. We went camping to Maker's Heights in Cornwall, and we had such a lovely time. And one morning, me and my friends just sat down and were painting. Again, I made a painting after this sketch, but I think it's so important, again, that I sketch before the painting because it just was the best warm-up. I love this spread as well. I was in my era with peaches, and obviously flowers are always my thing. I love the background, that I made the background black here. It's very unusual for me, but since this sketch I try to work with it more and more. And here I just found some Pinterest image as a reference of peaches and did this little spread, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it while chatting to my friends about all what's happening in their life. This is also one of my favorite pages. I really like the neon pink underpaint that I did here and how it kind of, you can see it through the darker color that I used after. So yeah, I really like this page as well, and I'm thinking of making a print from this page. It might be already on my shop when I'm posting this video, but maybe not, we will see. And almost at the end, we have again ocean beach scene. I just went for a read and relaxation on a beach underneath the lighthouse here in Plymouth. The weather wasn't really shiny, it was like blue grey, but I had a nice time just relaxing there. And then it started raining a little bit. I hope you can see it. I tried to capture it in my sketch that the weather wasn't sunny, but it was still really relaxing. This you could see in one of my previous videos when I did Draw This in Your Style challenge. I was drawing challenge from Viola Sienna, and it was my last page of a sketchbook. I wanted to practice the daffodils the day before, and then I did this Draw This in Your Style. If you want to see the whole process of this sketch, go check it out. It's one of my previous videos, and I would love to know what you think about this page. I really enjoyed using the background watercolored underpaint and then work with the neocolor crayons and all pastels on the top of it. And this is it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you might feel inspired now, that you learned something new about the materials I use, or maybe about me as well. Let me know in the comments what was your favorite page. I would love to know. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you want to, please subscribe to my channel and leave me a like. It will help me a lot. You can also follow me on Instagram, where I post every day. Have a lovely rest of your day. Sketch, create art, and see you next time. Bye!